294, 24, yeah, and then 294, and this is a Hangout. Actually, it's our second attempt at the Hangout. For this Hangout, we've tried about 3 or 4, and this is a second attempt at this one, so maybe I'll get it right this time. So anyway, my friend Steve, who also does YouTube videos on radios, motors, all kinds of devices, was able to get hold of a radio that's on sale right now that I couldn't get because we don't have any locally. And I'm going to let him tell you about that radio and a little bit about himself and his channel. So here we go. Take it away, Steve.
Hi, Tom. How's it going? Thanks for having me by. This is a radio I got the other day.
How did you get it?
Well, what did you tell me this really was? This is a Radio Shack branded radio.
It's a Sagen.
But it's really a Sagen. Is that the 505?
505.
5. Anyway, we have a kind of a little guys chit-chat hangout once a week. And Tom was showing me that Radio Shack had this on sale. And we got to looking at it on Amazon. And then later I looked it up on Universal Radio. Is that the right?
Yes.
And it's like at least $100 and some radio. Well, anyway, Radio Shack normally sells this under their house brand for $80, $79.95. And they recently put this on sale for $59.95. I don't know if they're clearing it out or what the deal is. And you can't get this off the website. It's out of stock completely. But the local stores, some of them have it. So anyway, when we were in the hangout, Tom was teasing me and threatened to leave the hangout unless I broke down and bought one of these. So basically what I did was I put my laptop down and drove across a couple miles while him and the rest of the people were in the hangout and actually purchased one of these, and I think I was gone, what, 15 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? The store is relatively close. And went up there and just picked the thing up. They had 2 in stock. The folks up at Radio Shack were pretty helpful. And this is what you get. You know, you get the radio, you get a little book, and that's it. But I thought for the money, it was a pretty good little radio. I mean, it's a pretty nice deal. I mean, I think it's got a lot of bang for the buck. And Tom's got a little scoring system that he uses to review his radios. And I thought we'd just go through what you do and just kind of step through the thing. Okay, looks like...
Yeah, here is my report card system that I use to check out a radio. And so we'll use that today. And we'll let Steve grade this radio for us.
Okie dokie. Well, the first thing you got there was kind of look and feel. I thought it's a pretty decent radio. It's just a kind of a dark charcoal black radio with white lettering. And it's pretty heavy. It's about 8 inches wide by about 5 inches by about maybe 1.5 inches approximately. It's just, you know, it's got a little bail and stuff on it. It's a little bit bigger than the Sony radio that Tom just reviewed not too long ago, which is kind of similar to the Grundig Yacht Boy 400, which I don't believe they make anymore. But it's pretty similar. I would say it's in the same class. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's I think the big difference is the tuning and the size of the display.
Yeah. So, and the display on this radio is quite a bit bigger. I mean, you can see here, well, I suppose I could just measure it. It's about 3 inches roughly by about 2 inches. And if you have a little tough time seeing, it's a great display. It's pretty decent. It's backlit. It's backlit kind of on the sides. Well, it's not backlit. I guess it's side lit. Is that fair to say?
That's what I call it.
And it's lit from 2 opposite corners, and it does a fair job. Unlike the Sony, which I think kind of when the backlight or side light comes on, it kind of washes the display. This does a pretty good job. I'd say the fit and finish of the thing is pretty decent. The buttons feel good. It's got a pretty big keypad. The buttons are pretty good sized. It's got, things are accessible from the side. Just a standard battery door, like I said, a little bail, antenna that swivels. It's just a pretty decent little sized radio. It's just got a nice feel to it.
So what would you score it on look and feel?
I really like the look of the feel of the thing. I'd say it's at least a B. I think it's a pretty decent. It doesn't feel cheap. A lot of plastic stuff from overseas sometimes just has a kind of a nasty feel to it. The buttons aren't all rocky. They seem to be kind of thoughtfully laid out. I give it a B. I think it deserves
Okay.
a B.
The next category is readability of the display and the markings.
Well, here's the display. Can you see that? Is that got a?
A little too close to the camera. Back off a little bit.
How about that? Let's get a. Tell you what. Let me turn this light out and see if that helps you. That help any?
Yes.
And that's without the backlight. Here is with the or side light. You kind of see that. But I think it has a pretty good display. I mean, from this distance, and I'm at an arm's length, I can read the display easily. The buttons, let me flip the light back on. The buttons, I believe, on the keypad, I believe those are injection molded, and I believe those legends are actually injection molded into it. The only one that I noticed was different was this enter key. And it seems like it's screened on there, like it looks different. Maybe it was for the U.S. market or North American market, but everything else is pretty well. It's white on black or black on white, whichever was appropriate. I can't remember. The sides are raised lettering, a little more difficult to read, but I don't know. I thought the readability was excellent on the thing.
So what are you going to give it?
I'm going to give that an A. I really think it's easy to read.
All right, the next one is power options.
On this radio, there really are only two power options. It doesn't come with a power pack. You have to buy that separate, but it's a standardized connector. It's a standard 6-volt. I think that's what they call a tip center, plus center. They got a standard polarization for those packs, and it just uses standard AA batteries. And the battery door is here. It uses 4 of them, which is pretty standard for small radios. 6-volt shouldn't be a problem to get the thing. And, I'd say that's, I don't know, probably pretty standard for most of these radios. I don't know.
So since it didn't come with a AC adapter, what score would you give it?
I'm going to give it a B because it didn't come with that AC adapter.
Okay.
Some of them do, some of them don't. This particular unit didn't. But I don't think you'll have a hard time finding a general purpose AC adapter. And I don't know if you can put NiCads in this and charge it with the AC adapter. The book says nothing about that. So if you're used to that feature, you're on your own. I'm going to give it a B. I think it deserves a B.
Okay, the next characteristic is tuning.
The tuning on this has got 3 ways to tune it. And I don't know if you can. It has a tuning knob, actually. It's just a kind of an analog type knob that just continuously tunes. And you can also, that knob, you can punch that knob in and it shows you the step for the thing. But you can just keep tuning away there. The other way you can do is kind of like the Sony, where you hit the enter key and then type a frequency directly in and then hit enter again and it takes it. And the last way is you can use these up and down keys, and that just takes you through the step. If you tuned it roughly and just wanted to touch it up a little bit, or you can hold it down and it steps through the step. So it's got 3 modes, which is more than a lot of the radios. A lot of the radios, it's kind of pick 2. Most of them, a direct keypad entry and the little up-down thing. Like the Sony has the up-down button thing. So I'd give it to, I don't know of any other small radios in this class that tune like that.
So it's got both the, I call it digital push button tuning,
Yep.
Keypad, and the knob.
And yeah.
So you will give it a...
I gave it an A, didn't I?
A. Okay.
An A. It was really great. I think it's got all 3 features. The knob doesn't feel cheap. I mean,
Okay, the next characteristic is audio quality.
Well, it's just a standard small radio with a small speaker. I mean, that speaker is really only about 2 inches. You know, it's no ball of fire. Um, with headphones on in the FM mode, the FM stereo light lights, and it's only as good as the sounding of the headphones. Just with the general purpose speaker, um, it's acceptable. And there is a small switch on the side. If I'm showing that to you right there, that kind of changes the tone. It's three positions, and they call it normal and music and news. It changes the tone of the radio a little bit. It's nothing stellar.
How about the volume?
It is a pretty loud radio. You can get the thing pretty loud, you know. Uh,
So what score would you give it?
oh, I'd say kind of a C. It's just about average, you know.
C. Okay, we got that. C. Next one is special features that the radio has.
Oh, I think that radio actually has a lot of special features. An antenna that actually swivels. You don't see that all the time. You know, it's nice if you want to put the thing. It has a bail. If you want to set it on the table and use the bail, you can put the antenna upright. It has a dual clock alarm set up on it, so you can set it, you know, one clock for local time and one clock for like UTC. It has a number of memories. It doesn't have a ton of memories. It only has 45 memories total for the machine, and they're spaced out in kind of weird groups over the AM, FM, and long wave. This does a small portion of long wave and shortwave. It has a BFO, or for sideband, right there.
Oh, so it does do single sideband.
It does do single sideband. It has a FM stereo or FM mono AM sideband switch. It's kind of a combo switch. Has an earphone jack, and has a local distance, kind of an attenuator, and does have an external antenna port, just a standard 1/8-inch one. And on this side, it's got the volume, and there's a keyboard, kind of a lock that locks the radio. You know, if you don't want it to come on in your luggage, you can lock the thing up, or if you want to set it on something and just leave it alone, you can lock it. And like I said, there's a little kind of a audio filter, and then that tuning. It does scan through and find channels on the AM and FM band, but not the shortwave, which I was a little bit disappointed in. But it's not a deal breaker.
What band are you on right now?
That's the shortwave band.
Because I thought I saw when you were showing the tuning function, I thought I saw it scanning.
Yeah, if you hold the thing down,
yeah,
it'll take off on its own. There's a mode where in scanning, it'll find the top loudest stations and store them into memory.
Oh, okay.
That only works under AM, FM.
Oh, so it will scan under shortwave, but it doesn't store anything.
Correct. I'm sorry. I didn't make that clear. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
And if you use that mode to scan and store in memory, it's a little tough to bump an existing station out of there. You can do it, but it kind of makes sure you know what you're doing. Does that make sense?
So it makes it a little difficult so you don't accidentally
That's
erase.
what the intention is.
Yeah.
It does do long wave. You know, there's AM, there's long wave, FM, and then shortwave. I thought the lineup of that was a little unusual, but it's not a deal breaker. 2 clocks. I don't know.
So what do you want to give it for special features as a grade?
I'd say a B. I think it has a lot of features for the buck. Like I said, it does alarm. There is a mode switch that you trick the radio into, and then you enter the keypad. You enter some numbers on the keypad, and I had to look that up. I think it's once you set it, you're going to forget it. It sets like the FM tuning step. I assume 200 kilohertz is for Europe. AM is 9 kilohertz or 100 kilohertz. It will change the clock format from 12-hour format to 24. You can change the thing can beep when you touch a keypad or do something. It's just some basic features. It's not a big thing, but it's nice. It's there. It's available. Use it if you'd like.
Okay, and did you get a chance to test the reception capabilities on shortwave? We usually.
Yeah, I did. Actually, to be really fair, the shortwave has been kind of poor around here for the past few days. I got this last Friday. Today's Monday. And I did manage to, after we got off of our hangout the other day, I took the thing out and set it on the tailgate of my pickup. And I sat down with a chair out there, and I heard a number of amateurs on 7 megahertz. Most of them from up around Canada, up around the Great Lakes and stuff. They were easily tunable, and the BFO worked well, I thought. It didn't seem to drift hardly at all. It's right on the money if you use the BFO to zero-beat WWV. One thing I did like about that BFO is it actually has a mark and a little detent. You can feel where it's supposedly at 0. The Sony doesn't do that. But I didn't have any trouble. Now, like I said, I didn't hear any really super long distance stations, but just from the feel I got from what I listened to on the amateur bands, I think it hears pretty well. I don't think it's deaf. I'd say it's pretty reasonable here.
So do you want to go ahead and try to give it a grade?
Well, to be fair to it, Tom, I'd really like to experiment with it some more.
Okay.
Right off the cuff, I'd say in the B, C category compared to my other radios, but I don't think I've given it a fair shake.
All right, we can do that on another show. Usually when I review a radio, I do 2 parts, one of all the things that we've talked about, and then I do a separate part 2 where I've had a chance to check out reception. So we can do that.
That sounds fair.
Okay, so let's look at what we've got so far.
Oh, it looks like you got B and A and B and A and C and B.
So you want to give it an average grade so far?
I'd say it's got a B for an average grade. For the money, I think it's a really good value for the money. I really do.
Okay. So so you would give this radio a thumbs up, especially at this closeout price of $59 compared to over $100 other places.
I think it is really a good value. I mean, it is branded with, it's branded a house brand, but that doesn't hurt anything. There are plenty of house brands that are, other companies' products and just rebranded. I don't know how they're selling the thing that cheap, to be real honest.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder how much they have to pay for them.
It does make you wonder. Like I said, I seen Universal had the thing. I thought it was $140 or $50. And you said Amazon was $120?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yep.
I guess my only grumble is the power pack, and it doesn't come with a carrying case, but I think you could find something off the shelf, somewhere. There's a little leather case or a little vinyl case you could put it in.
Yeah, I didn't check closely on Amazon to see if it came with any accessories, which could drive the price up.
Yeah. And that's possible. Maybe they packaged some other stuff. It didn't come with any headphones. It basically comes with the radio, the box, and the instruction book, which I found, it's bilingual. It's pretty good size. It's easy to read and understand. It's not tough to figure out. I think it's a good bargain. I really do. I'm happy I bought it.
Okay, I appreciate you doing this review for me because I tried to buy one at my local Radio Shacks and looks like they're out of stock, and of course, since this is a closeout item, they won't have any more in stock. So I'm glad you were able to do this for me because I did want to review it since it is an outstanding deal. And I suggest if you're interested in this radio to start calling your local Radio Shacks and see if they have any left in stock. Steve, could you tell us a little bit before we go about your channel?
My YouTube channel is it's called TheTimeSpiders, and I do radio stuff. That's kind of how Tom and I met over YouTube. I also do mechanical things, small engines, those sorts of things, electromechanical, just lots of different things, kind of things that I think people might be interested in. There's electronic stuff too. I've been doing this kind of a series on repairing some electronic tube-based equipment. So there's a little bit of everything there, I think, for everybody.
Okay, thank you, Steve. That's the show for today. And thank everyone for watching. This is kind of our first real hangout. And we'll see how it goes. And I really want to do this with Steve and some other YouTubers and some even some of my subscribers that would like to get on with me and talk about one of the radios they have that I don't have. So thanks for watching. For now, we'll say bye-bye.